What's up, guys? It's sign time here. So, I've been seeing these nice what if suggestions. So, this is the first one that I'll probably be doing. And if you read the title, you would know that it says, "What if Giorno joined La Squadra?" Now, I think this is going to be pretty interesting, and I don't think it's going to end the way that you might think it will exactly. So, stay strapped in, watch the video. If you enjoy, I'll definitely make more what ifs like this. And from there, let's get started. Alright, so we start our story off with obviously Giorno wanting to become a gang star. We get the whole backstory. Nothing about that really changes at all. Now, here's where it changes. When he's actually trying to get into the gang. So the whole Leaky Eye Luca situation happens. He has his encounter with Bushirati, except this time it's going to be going a little bit different. So while in that fight with Bushirati, they don't have I guess the same thing that goes on where it's like join my squad or something. Bushirati's just join the gang. If that makes, I don't know if that really makes any sense, but basically what I'm trying to say is he's not going to be on Bushirati's team. Instead, is going to wander around and meet the different gang members, and he'll join whichever group that he wants. So he eventually comes across La Squadra, and so he talks to Risotto, so like that. So they have their meeting, kind of similar to how the first meeting of Passion was. And obviously he's accepted because he kind of has to be. That's a must-have. That's a win condition for this. So here's a few things that will definitely be going differently in the beginning. First, Popo does not die at all because he does not have to go through the same things that he did for rejoining Bushirati, which means since Popo's not dying, they are not going to have to go and get the treasure, which means if they're going to get the treasure and Giorno wasn't there, they'd probably all die. Let's be honest. But they don't have to do that because guess what? There's no treasure to be gotten. So we kind of just skip over that entire arc. So eventually we get to the future. The Squadra defects from the gang because they're trying to expose Diavolo's identity. So as I said before, Bushirati meets Risotto and is enlisted by him. But before they defect from the gang, there is the whole situation with Koichi. So I guess I gotta explain that. That basically goes the same. Nothing different happens. Nothing different happens at all. That literally happened before, which is why at the start I said nothing changes. Really, that literally happened at the start. So if anybody was going to ask about that, that does not change at all. So let's get to the first fight I guess we really had between Passion and La Squadra, because some of these things are still going to be happening because they're still going to be given the order to find Trish, and then La Squadra is going to be trying to track them down and whatnot. So Abacchio in the Man in the Mirror fight against Iluso will die. He will die. Nobody really here to save him. Fugo does too, except he kind of gets a win because he hits him with the virus stuff, but he still dies. Because in this term's event, since Giorno wasn't there, he kind of hit himself with his virus and whatnot, and he dies. However, Giorno was sent with Iluso just in case, because they know he's a healer and stuff. And at the very last second, he's able to get a cure for Iluso because he was watching and noticed that there was a snake in the fight that was not affected by the virus. So he's able to remake that and cure him. Now, we get on to the next fight with Beach Boy and the Grateful Dead. That goes exactly the same. Nothing there would change at all. But something interesting, when we get to the Babyface fight, there's no Giorno there. We know the only reason that they really won was because of Giorno. Now, Babyface kills Bushirati. Yep, he kills Bushirati right there and then. I mean, it was basically already happening in the show. So, bam, and now they captured Trish. Now, Mista and Nancia are not here in this fight at all, so they're not really affected by it at all, except now they don't really have a leader. So, that happens. Next up, we go to the White Album fight, which originally was with Mista and Giorno, but this time it's going to be Mista and Narantia. And guess what? They don't die. Now, Giorno in that fight, I don't feel like he did nearly as much as Mista. And considering Narantia is there, I feel like he's going to be doing a lot more than Giorno had really contributed to that fight, especially since he uses bullets and like giant plane with bombs and stuff. Yeah, I think the fight's going to be actually a bit more easier than it was in canon against Ghiaccio. So that's really the first death on the Squadra side, actually. So this will eventually lead to Narantia, Mista, Chocolato, and Secco teaming up. Because, remember, they never betrayed the boss. Because they didn't know, and Trish was captured. So now they have to team up with Chocolato and Secco to stop La Squadra. So the same people that were in the last few fights of Part 5 are now their teammates. Think about that for a second. Now, to take on Diavolo, La Squadra receives info from Polnareff to meet them at the Colosseum to get the Requiem arrow. Because this is the same thing that happened in canon, because he believed that they were closer than anyone, and obviously, La Squadra literally has Trish, so yeah, he would send them information. Now, here's how the fight would go. Now, Malone and Pesky would die to Secco. Sad as that is. Now, I do feel like Babyface would be able to tag Mista. I definitely feel like he'd be able to kill Mista. However, Mista shoots his legs at the very last second, and that lets Secco drag him into the ground and kill him. Now, Pesky, big beach boy man with the fishing hook, he gets completely obliterated by Narantia, and then Secco comes and finishes the job. So, yeah. But, right before Pesky is killed by Secco, he manages to hook him. And that actually did good enough damage because it actually bypasses through his stand. I forget what it's called. I think it was called Oasis or something, or Sanctuary. One of those. Probably Sanctuary. And that actually allows Risotto to finish him off with the blood that's all over his body. He completely dies. Now, Pursuto actually sacrifices himself in an attempt to beat Chocolata and succeeds. So, he actually gets turned into mold, but at the same time, he, in a successful fight, I won't go into details about the fight because I want to kind of make this quick, he manages to defeat Chocolata. But it's like a tie. So now, on the other side, it's really only Giorno and Risotto for La Squadra. For Passion, only people there right now are really Doppio and Narantia. Narantia, by the way, of which is heavily injured. Now, Giorno actually comes up behind Narantia, so, that's going to change really quick, so I don't think I need to explain what's going to happen there. I think we all know who's winning that, especially a weakened Narantia versus, a full health Giorno. Giorno's just been in the background trying to, heal them and stuff, be support. He never really got attacked. So, I guess that's, plot or something, but, yeah. What are you going to do about it? So, similar events for when Diavolo first appeared in the Colosseum go on. They do make it to the Colosseum. And, see, Illuso is also still here. He never died. Remember that. He never died. So, he's killed by Diavolo. See, they try to get the jump on him when they see him so they can try to, kill him. He's trying to kill them. But however, Diavolo uses Epitaph and can tell that he's coming through there. And so he skips time. And when he stops it, that boy is a donut. That man is glazed. However, this gives them enough time to retrieve the arrow. Or at least for Polnareff to come out with the arrow. And with that, Diavolo kind of just skips time and grabs it. So, Diavolo has the arrow in his grasp. However, Risotto, using Metallica, can get the arrow out of his hand in time to grab the arrow. So he's like the iron, and he makes like scissors, and he like throws them out of his hand, and he actually managed to catch it. Now, Risotto tries to use the arrow on himself. However, Diavolo skips times and chops off his hand, and the arrow lands to Polnareff, which, oh no, accidentally goes in Silver Chariot's hand. Oh no, Chariot Requiem activates. Now, Chariot Requiem is defeated in the exact same way as canon. Like, everything goes the same about that. Diavolo still chops the sun behind his head. However, Risotto has taken a lot of damage from the fight with Chariot Requiem. So, Giorno actually leaves one of the little ladybugs that he has on, like, his clothes, or I don't know what they're really called, but he leaves those for him to heal. And he goes to prevent Diavolo from using the arrow, as it's on the ground right now. So, Giorno does put up a good fight in stalling him. However, he still will lose because he does not have Requiem, man. He does not have Golden Experience Requiem. And so, he loses. Now, but before Diavolo can kill Giorno, Risotto manages to use the iron from the blood that's covering Giorno's body, and he makes scalpels out of it to pierce Diavolo's arms, making the arrow fall to the ground. Giorno, with the last of his strength, manages to pick it up and tosses the arrow to Risotto, telling him to use the arrow as he's in the best condition. And, as you may imagine, this awakes Metallica Requiem. Now, just basically the abilities off of kind of how Risotto is, I guess, as like a serious but caring boss. You find the most efficient way to get the job done, very precise, and the abilities of his stand overall. Seeing the nature of it, I'd say the abilities he gains from this would be atomic manipulation, as he can already manipulate molecules inside of blood and iron and stuff like that, along with previously enhanced abilities, and being able to use magnetic fields to alter and control gravity, as that is also sort of a property of his stand. Now, if you know anything about JoJo, you know just being able to control gravity is overpowered in its own right. And with this ability, he's able to defeat Diavolo. Now, the fight is not as easy as it was with Golden Experience Requiem, but he's still able to do it. He completely outclasses him. He did not suffer as bad as a fate as Giorno, but, so basically, like, how he's defeated, Risotto kind of, he throws him into space, but he turns, like, his atomic structure into, like, a shell of mineral, and so he's, like, a biological mineral, kind of like Cars was. But, and with that being said, that's really the end of the What If. That's What If Giorno joined La Squadra. Now, I hope you enjoyed this. If there should be more, maybe next time make it a bit longer, give me a bit more details, I don't know. But whatever the case, thank you for watching up to this point. I'll see you later. Goodbye.